I just wanted to show you a couple of tips and tricks on how to build a good quality flying drone and how to build it yourself. But first, I just wanted to show you and explain to you um, what you need to start with. The best drone to start with, doesn't matter how old you are, if you're 40 or if you're 30 or if you're 10, is this Syma drone X11C. That's what I was starting with. Um, I was building this drone right here, but I was building it and crashing it all the time, and I couldn't figure out why. A buddy of mine basically told me start with one of those. I've been flying that around the house, up and down the stairs, to the kitchen, to the living room, from the master bedroom, and those prop guards, they basically prevent your house from being scratched up from the props. So the best tip I could give you is spend $50 on one of those, and you will save thousands on one of those. You will save time and money by not crashing a big drone like that. Now the next drone is what you're gonna get. This one you're gonna be flying for about a month. After a month, or if you're young, if you're like 20, you could. It's probably gonna take you like a week of flying this guy. Um, After that one, you're gonna get this guy. This one doesn't have the prop guards, even though I think there's an option for them. You could buy it with the prop guard, but it's an extremely fast little drone, and it's called Hapsan. I'm sure by the time you watch this video, this Hapsan is maybe outdated already, but it's very fast, it's very fun to fly, and I highly encourage you to buy one of those and a whole bunch of props, because you will need about 3 or 4 sets of props, especially if you have too much grass around you. This one has a direct motor connected to the prop, and the battery lasts forever. It flies fine, and but this is not a starter drone. The starter drone is this one, this small one right here. I mean, this is smaller than this one, but I highly encourage you to start with this one around the house, flying around the house, then switch to one of those, and you will be able to have better controls. This one has a joystick like that, so basically throttle up, throttle down, left, right, rotate right, rotate left, and basically forward and back, forward and back. And batteries last forever on this one. This is rechargeable batteries, so buy one of those. This is the tip number one for all of you out there. Start with the small ones, don't even bother with the big one. You could be buying parts right now for the big one, but you have to start with one of those. So if you're really good with one of those, you probably might want to try one of the 250 racing quads. This is 250 racing quad. It has LEDs in the back, LEDs on the front. You got the camera built into it. The frame itself cost $11. Then you put motors on. You put 4 motors. You put 4 ESCs, and you put the antenna for the FPV. You connect the camera, and you could put the camera right here, the Mobius camera on top. And one of those is probably the next drone that you want to be flying. You probably don't want to build this guy. The 250s are cheaper to, in my opinion, again, there's a whole bunch of people who are watching out there and saying you have to build everything yourself. I don't believe I want to be dealing with building one of those, and I don't believe I have to be dealing with building one of those. And this guy comes with everything except the receiver and transmitter. I got it for like $140 from China, including the shipping, $146. And the company Yashin what it does, they do the cameras, they make the cameras. They basically make this camera right here, and they also make the transmitter that's 600 milliwatts that's built into there. The transmitter itself costs about $70 plus shipping. Well, 65 plus shipping, depends where you're at. And we are in the United States, so it's $70 for the transmitter alone, plus the camera, $10, so you're already at like 75. So if you want to build it yourself, then you have to buy the frame for $11. You already, plus the shipping for the frame, obviously. You're already at like 90. LEDs on the front, LEDs in the back. So again, plus the control board, plus the battery. And overall, you're gonna be way over $140 that you're gonna spend on already assembled machine. It comes with the props, it comes with the charger. Oh, by the way, the charger costs money as well. So yeah, I mean, if you want to be flying 250 but not extremely, like there are 250s that are great. I mean, there's an alternative to this one is called the Valkyra. Valkyra is going to be about $150 more, so it's going to be around 300 to 80. And Valkyra flies fine, and Valkyra comes with the transmitter, with one of those guys, with transmitters. And that Valkyra transmitter you could use on one of those 250s or 350s or whatever else Valkyra makes. And in my opinion, when it comes to 250s, I mean, for that money, it's cheaper to buy already built quad than build it yourself. However, I'm not the best pilot of 250s, so I mean, I still have time to go. So there are a whole bunch of people out there who specialize in 250s, and they could tell you a lot more about them. And there are a bunch of videos on YouTube about how to build 250s, cheap 250s. And they're not hard to build. I mean, they're really quite easy and not that expensive, but it's gonna take you at least 2-3 months to build one of those if it's your first quad, and it's just buy one of those. I mean, $150, you can't beat that. So, and yeah, so when it comes to something big like this, my advice to you, my first advice is obviously buy a Phantom. Buy a Phantom by DJI or by 3DR Robotics. I think 3DR Robotics, 3DR Solo makes great products. That's my opinion, but I mean, read the reviews and buy 3DR or buy DJI. It's gonna be much cheaper than building this guy. So you could see videos of how I'm flying this guy. You could see videos how smooth the video is. The video is recording right here from the Mobius camera right here. And it's on anti-vibration plate here, and there's another anti-vibration piece between the camera and the mount right here. So my advice to you is buy a Phantom. But if you're a person like me, if you're a guy who likes to build stuff, and I am the guy who likes to build stuff, I mean, all this stuff right here, and there, that's all work tables basically. And I do like to build stuff like yachts, like drones. I do lots of soldering. Here's my soldering iron, the exhaust for the for soldering. So yeah, you would probably want to build one of those yourself. Now, the advice is again, buy a Phantom if possible, but if you build it yourself, don't buy a 450 frame. 450 frame is the most common frame there is. It looks like that. Don't buy it. And the reason why you don't want to start with 450, because there is no room for anything. You're gonna outgrow this frame like that. I mean, you're gonna building and building and building stuff on it, and this frame is a waste of time and money and effort. I crashed it many times, so each arm is new arm. Plates, all the plates are new plates. As you can see, there is so much damage that the frame in the back also cracked right here. And obviously the landing gears are already not holding well. So 450 frame is not a frame to work on. My advice to you is to start building a 500S frame. 500S frame, S like Sam, is the best frame so far on 2015. And I have a bunch of frames here which I never bothered to build yet. This is the S500 frame. The S500 frame comes with arms similar to the 450 frame, but they are slightly concave, as you can see. They're not straight. So I mean, if this is how it mounts, you will see that the motor here, basically the arm is not straight at all. Not straight. Basically the motor gonna be at an angle. It's not gonna be straight to the arm, it's gonna be slightly at an angle. And you want it to be slightly at an angle so that the descent would be much smoother and the takeoff would be much smoother, because the air from the props, the prop wash not gonna be pointing downwards, but it's gonna be pointing to the side, and you're not gonna get the same air repeated over and over again. The turbulence would be much less, and again, I highly encourage you to build 5S instead of 450, and 5S basically looks something like this. So you will have a top plate, a bottom plate, the gimbal would go slightly to the front, and the battery would be slightly in the back. So something along those lines. The battery holder right here is a great battery holder, and the cameras would be pointed right there. So it's the same similar frame. It's slightly more expensive at this time, like 30 bucks more. At the time I was ordering this, it was like 50 something dollars. Make sure you're gonna buy one of those without this power distribution plate. Make sure the bottom plate has the power distribution board built into the bottom frame. You don't wanna extra plates anywhere. I mean, you wanna go down in size as much as possible. Now, the number one reason why you wanna put everything on 500S is that there is a lot more room to work on. That's one. And two, the arms, if you're gonna look inside of those arms, there is a metal rod right here. Well, metal or whatever rod, some sort of rod right here that prevents it from cracking when you're gonna be hitting the ground. Those once you hit the ground, those break like that. So yeah, 500S frame. I will try to make a video on how to make a drone using 500S. Hopefully sometime soon. So, but you're gonna have much smoother flying drone on 500S than 450. And yeah, don't bother with 450 because again, no room for anything. And don't bother with those landing gears as well. This is the aftermarket landing gears like carbon fiber and stuff, but they are a bit too heavy for the 450 frame, and I'm just gonna take them off and try to rearrange it some other way to be put on. Another advice is I'm using the PixArk module right here, and it works for me, but it takes forever to make it work for you. Well, for me, it took forever for me because I fried the first PixArk I had. Basically, it was smoking. I don't know why, but this is the second PixArk, and the reason I use PixArk so that I could program it using the Raspberry Pi, and you could see my website. It's called raspberrydrone.com. So here we have a Raspberry Pi that we basically connect to the PixArk on the telemetry ports, and we can basically, using the Raspberry Pi, we could control the drone from either using wireless network like Wi-Fi, or if you're gonna put a 4G card in here, we could control it by 4G network. Basically, it could you could basically call your drone and tell it to take off and fly there and here. So again, my advice is don't use PixArk. Use the DJI Comba. That's basically DJI M, I believe it's called. It's like $150 for the control module plus the GPS, and they have the best GPS. When it comes to GPS units, I went through 5 different GPS units before I arrived to this one. The best GPS units on the market is called M8N, I believe. Either N8M or M8N. So make sure the GPS unit is M8N chip. If it's not M8N, and don't buy it. Make sure it has the compass in it and the GPS. If it doesn't have a compass, the PixArk is really bad when it comes to compass because there's too much interference around here. So my advice, make sure the GPS unit you buy is going to be M8N, and it's going to be kind of expensive unit. Because you're going to have a whole bunch of flyaways when it comes to GPS units with the compass on board. I had this one, this drone or whatever was before that, flying directly into my neighbor's house and crashing, and basically I don't fly near my neighbors anymore. I go and fly at the special airfield we got around here. You could watch my videos and see where I'm flying. So okay, so advice is don't buy PixArk. It's much easier and smoother process to just buy a DJI module right here and DJI GPS unit. One thing I want you to understand is this GPS unit has to be mounted extremely well to the plate on the bottom. Don't use those tall rods because they have tendencies to rotate. Once the tall rod rotates left or right and your GPS unit is on it, your compass is going to go haywire and you're going to have a flyaway. It's going to crash someplace. It's going to kill somebody. So make sure this plate that holds the GPS unit in place is pretty much screwed in everywhere, and you glued every single joint and even the GPS unit around here and here and here, so that you glued everywhere. All the joints are glued together. Otherwise, once it starts to rotate, once the GPS unit starts to come off a little bit, if you just put a sticky pad right here, it might come off and it's gonna fly away. So this is the most important thing there is. Make sure this GPS unit is being held in place extremely well, like so well that you can pretty much lift it up and screw around with it. So GPS unit with the compass on board is the most important part of this whole setup. If this is screwed up, the whole thing is screwed up. So another advice I could give you, don't buy anything off of eBay, because pretty much everything they sell doesn't fly or doesn't want to fly or doesn't fly well. So if you're just buying a combo drone, so basically it just says put it together and fly. I could tell you right now it's not gonna fly well and it's not gonna work. Every part you buy for your drone, for example, the motors, has to be a brand name. The best motors there are probably, this is not the best motor, but it flies well for me. The best drones are probably, I'm talking about price, quality. You probably the best of your Sunny Sky, basically. If you see Sunny Sky, don't worry about it. It's going to be a good motor. If it says DYS, buy it. If it says Tiger motor, buy it. If it says Emax, buy it. Again, list of them goes on, but if it's a no name brand motor, don't even ever consider buying it. The fatter the motor, the better. The lower profile of the motor, the better. But if it's tall like this one, it got a lot more torque. And this drone can't fly. I mean, it can fly straight up, to the side, to the left. I think I flew it like 30, 35 miles an hour. For a 450 frame, it's pretty fast. So, next thing. Each motor is being has the power coming from the ESC. The ESC is also extremely important part of the drone, and you can't really skip on it. So those are 30 amps Afra Apta ESCs with Simon K hardware on it. Remember, if ESC doesn't have a Simon K, if it doesn't say Simon K, or if it doesn't say BL Heli, basically BL Heli or Simon K are the firmware for the quads. If it's some other ESC without Simon K or without BL Heli, don't buy it, because it's not made for drones, it's made for planes. That's a big mistake I made, because I kept buying those guys and none of them work. I bought them on eBay and basically the drone kept crashing, or it kept unbalancing and crashing. So the ESCs are extremely important. Don't make sure it's quality ESC. I'm also not buying any ESCs that have an extra cable running to the control board, because I don't want an extra voltage coming into the board. So they're all Apta ESCs. This is Apta, 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 and Apta. Apta means there is no voltage coming from the ESC down to the control module. That's my preference. You might want to have another wire, hot wire running here. It's gonna make more interference, in my opinion. So there is no need for more power in this unit, in my case. So yeah, remember, Simon K or BL Heli. Motors have to be brand name. That's OK motor. Tiger motors are best, DYS are good, and basically Emax and Sunny Sky. Sunny Sky are the most common, and Sunny Skies are usually what you guys gonna be putting on drone of this size. Another drawback of this frame, of 450 frame, is that the 10-inch prop is the maximum you can put on it. So as you can see, the distance here is pretty close. So the reason you want to go with 500S frame is so that you could put an 11-inch props. So the bigger the prop, the longer it stays in the air. The fatter the motor, the lower the motor, the longer it stays in the air. So the fatter the motor, the longer it stays in the air. So the longer flight times. The bigger the prop, the lower the motor, the fatter the motor, you're gonna get much better flying times. It's not going to be as responsive on like uplift, but the battery not going to be drained as fast. And again, flying time is really important. That 450 frame is horrible flying times, especially with those legs. It's not something you wanna. Basically, I spent whole summer trying to work things out here, and again, my point is build 500S frame instead of the 450. Batteries, my best. Here, let me show you. When it comes to batteries for that kind of drone, you have a choice of basically 2200 milliamps, but it's not gonna fly for long. The best bet, I put 5000 milliamps, but when I put 3040Cs, they drained really fast. So I put lower Cs, and on lower Cs it lasted much longer. The 3300, it flies well, very responsive, but the best battery I put on it is this one. It's a 2030C 5000 milliamps, and it flies the longest with this battery. So those are all the batteries I experimented with. This is 5200 milliamps, and it's 10 Cs, I believe. This should be 10 C discharge right there. Flies okay with that, but not for long. So honestly, I experimented with so many batteries, some batteries here, that I would highly encourage you to don't buy this frame. Buy a battery like that, 5200 milliamps, and build a 500 S quad with a larger prop, with 11-inch props. And you want a lower kV rating motors. The lower kV rating is basically for 500S, basically for this guy. For 500S, you want 750. 750 would be the best kV rating, in my opinion. This is 950 right here. The 950 is really torquey, but I'm not happy with them. The flying time is horrible. All the energy goes into torque. Yes, it's responsive. Yes, it flies fun with the camera on board, but you know, for too much fun, you want to have one of those, the 250 drones. And for FPV, if you want to fly fast, 250 is the way to go. This one is mostly for videos, for aerial photos. So if you're going big, 4 motors is more than enough. If you want to build a 6 motor or 8 motor configuration, remember that the flight times is going to be much less than 4. So the optimal number of props is 4. So if you want to go long, if your flying times want to be long flying times, you are better off building a quadcopter instead of hexa or octocopter. Some would say, oh, but you know, 8 motors is better than 4. Problem is the quad can do pretty much anything that the octo hexacopter can do, except maybe weight-wise. Maybe the octo hexa can lift up a bit more weight, but honestly, if you look at the Phantoms, DJI Phantoms, the way the video quality is, you don't really need a hexa or octocopter. I got the frame for hexa, I got the frame for octa, and when I put the calculations in, it shows me that flight times is going to be much worse than than your regular 500S frame. So first of all, make sure you don't go into hexes and octets yet. Start with quads. Another extremely interesting for me, another interesting frame is the tricopter, where basically there is a one prop in the back on a server, and I would like to build it someday when it's going to be a lot more error proof, so to speak, when stuff not going to be breaking as easily. So if you're watching this video in 2016 or 17, I look into tricopters. I think tricopters would be a lot more fun. On tricopter, I don't think you can put as much stuff, but again, stick to quads and maybe tricopters. So another device. This is a video transmitter, and this is 200 milliwatt transmitter, and it's more than enough. This antenna right here, I get much better signal with one of those polarized antennas, and it works on 5.4 or 6, 5.6 gigahertz. Make sure your transmitter works on 2.4. Make sure this guy works at 5.6. It's middle of the night, so go figure. And the best part of using PixHack is that it comes with, it doesn't come with, but you could buy separately, an on-screen display. On-screen display is basically a data layered on top of the image that comes from this camera. Okay, so, and I couldn't fly FPV well until I got myself an on-screen display. And on-screen display, if you guys can see it, is basically, let me put something dark, hold on. Is basically showing me everything I wanna see. Hold on. So it shows me modes, it shows me the battery life, how much battery left, and it shows which way is home. So without on-screen display, I don't really fly anymore. Line of sight is flying a lot harder than flying with the on-screen display. And on-screen display for DJI is there. You could buy it. It's an extra module, but I think it's a bit more expensive. This on-screen display is a pain to program because you have to have a Raspberry Pi. But for me, it's not a problem. I'm a programmer by trade. So for software engineer, I'm a software engineer because I spent 5 years working on my doctorate in software engineering. So for me, programming anything is not a problem at all. It's actually more fun, and I enjoy doing stuff that requires programming. And the reason I'm sticking to PixHack because I have great goals I want to achieve with programming this PixHack with using Raspberry Pi, but stuff does not communicate as well as it's supposed to communicate because I think people at 3DR made it harder for people like me to have a stable communication between the PixHack and Raspberry Pi, because probably, it's just my guess, that 3DR Robotics probably put Raspberry-like computer on their drones and they don't want anybody else to put a Raspberry Pi on a PIXAC machine. And when my Raspberry communicates with PIXAC, I get shortages all the time, and stuff gets restarted, stuff gets resetted, something gets fried here, you get smoke. So um, so I'm trying, I'm working on it. But again, if you are a guy who doesn't want to program anything, don't buy PIXAC, just buy a DJI unit, DJI NASA M or NASA Lite, one of those, and it should be flying just fine. Okay, let's keep going about tips and tricks. Make sure you're gonna get the on-screen display. Without on-screen display, it really sucks to fly. Make sure the video transmitter has one of those antennas right here. The goggles, I mean, I understand that some of you are familiar with these goggles. I had to move the screen on the outside of the goggles. It was like right here, and there was a lens, but I couldn't really concentrate. I moved the screen all the way out. It's a cheap $45 setup, and it works like it works like wonders. I put some Velcros right here, so that it wouldn't come off my face. And the LiPo battery right here to power up. It powers up for hours, no problem. My biggest advice to you: don't ever buy this radio. The Turingy radio sucks. It sucks big time. What you wanna buy? You wanna buy the FrSky transmitter and FrSky receiver. I have those coming to me from China, and it's been already a month or so. So I should get them like today or tomorrow, hopefully, but I've been hoping like that for like months already. You could get them in China for like 220 to 30, maybe cheaper. This guy is only $60, including the receiver. Now the good part about this, I use this guy on my yacht. Right there is my yacht, and it's a, I don't know if you can see the yacht, but it's there. You see? I use it on my yacht, and the receiver for this guy only cost $8. And if the yacht takes on any water, the receiver usually dies. And if I'm gonna put the FrSky receiver, those are usually 35, 40 bucks receivers, and it's much more painful for if the boat gonna get some water on it, it's much more painful for me to pay for it all the time. So Turing transmitters suck. I mean, don't buy them ever. You think you're saving money, but honestly, the amount of time it takes to program it is at least 2 days. I don't think it's worth the effort. I could make a lot more money just by working and then ordering a good transmitter than wasting my lifetime on programming this guy. So for a yacht, it's okay. For a quadcopter, it's not okay. You want a PPM module, basically. Your DJI or your PIXAC gonna come with the receiver. Let me show you the receivers. So this is the receiver that sits right here. This is the receiver right here. It's got the 8 output channels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it's got one of these antennas right here. So for a boat, it's okay. For this guy, for the 250, it's also okay. But when it comes to something serious like PIXAC or DJI and NASA, you don't want to deal with this little piece right here. It's called the PPM converter, And I think it causes a whole bunch of issues, and that's the reason why sometimes I get low range signal on it. So the FR Sky gonna come with X8R receiver, and that 8XR gonna have exactly the same cable right here, the 3-pin cable going directly into the receiver. Instead of using this board, you're gonna have a direct cable going to the receiver. So if you see Turnigy receiver or Turnigy transmitter, don't buy them. You think you're gonna save some money, but at the end you're still gonna end up buying Taranis. I was just disappointed with the whole cheapness of this thing. And oh yeah, another thing for people who just starting out: don't ever buy mode 1. This is a mode 2 radio. Mode 2 radio is this one on the bottom. However, the radio was cheap and it came with throttle on the right. And it took me a couple of days, not a couple of days, but a couple of hours still, to switch the gimbals around and to reprogram the transmitter so that it would come in mode 2. So this is mode 2, the throttle on the left. So make sure you're going to be buying mode 2 right away. Don't waste your time with switching the gimbals around, opening it up. I have the tools, but again, it's a waste of time to deal with small nuisances like that. You see this little piece right here? It's a buzzer. You have to have a buzzer on your drone. When it flies away and it crashes into the tree someplace, you're not gonna be able to find it. I honestly lost the drone that way already. So that buzzer is connected directly into one of those channels. So when it crashes, I turn on the channel and this thing just buzzes the hell out. So I could find it in tall grass, I could find it in the field, I could find it on the trees without the buzzer, and it again it's directly connected to this receiver. So that's my tip: make sure there is a buzzer on every drone you fly. No buzzer, don't fly it. So yeah. Another tip. I had real issues of getting a gel effect and vibrations effects out of those out of this configuration. I used 1045 props. 1045s gave me a whole bunch of vibrations. This is 1050. 1050 didn't give me any vibrations and it didn't give me any gel effects. So I don't know what's the huge difference, but 1050s are much better for a 450 setup than 1045s. 1045s is basically the size of the prop. This is 1050. It has a much higher pitch, but it gives me much less issues. So advices are those: don't buy 450 frame, don't buy Turnigy radios, don't buy the those super expensive landing gear. They're gonna be breaking all the time. So here is, I believe I paid like $60 for one of those landing gears, which is broke. So, oh yeah, and one more thing: make sure you got enough zip ties. Make sure you got enough zip ties to build your drone, because without this set of zip ties, it looks like that basically. Without the set of zip ties, you're not gonna build anything. All the stuff gonna be all over the place. So, what else can I tell you guys? Yeah, one other tip. For the smoothest videos ever, is if you can see, the Mobius moves freely right here. You see that little piece of plate right there in the middle, the blue one? Right there, you see something moves in there? It's called moon gel. And that moon gel is what reduces all the final vibration. And yeah, it looks like rubbers right here, and it's not obviously DJI design, but that moon gel takes out 90% of all gel, and takes out 90% of all vibrations. So it comes in something like this. Right. like that. Moon Gel non-toxic. This stuff is the best stuff ever. Sometimes when you fly, you have vibrations on your camera. So to reduce vibrations on the camera, I put the Moon Gel right under. You see the blue stuff right here? So when there's a whole bunch of vibrations, I'm not really worried because this stuff takes out vibration and the Moon Gel takes out vibration. So yeah, also make sure you have those padding gears right here. They don't cost that much. They're only like $1.50. So remember the website. One of the websites is Hobby King. Another website is Banggood. Those are the two sites you could buy everything from. Forget eBay. Forget Amazon. You could buy stuff on eBay and Amazon, but don't buy like when you need something fast and you need something like small, something not important. All other sites, so again, you're probably the best off with Banggood or Hobby King. Forget about all other websites. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you guys about. I have no grief about quantum glasses. They're cheap. They work fine for me. I have no grief about the 250s. 250s, just buy already the build ones. Don't buy Turing Radius. Don't buy for 50 frames. Don't buy Pixhawk. Buy a DJI product and build a 500S frame. I will show you in the next video how to build a 500S from scratch, and I will show you. I will try to show you at least that everything's flying much better than what this stuff and longer. I mean, this flies well. This flies extremely well. It comes back home and got everything. I mean, fail safes, everything. Oh, one other thing. Don't ever put the wires on the outside of the motor, like on the outside of the frame. Those wires have tendencies to disconnect during flight, and then the drone just keep crashing. As you can see, I put some heat rings on top of every single connection here. Heat ring here, here, so they won't disconnect. But the best thing to do is to put this connection like from here and under here, so that the cables won't get separated during flight. Okay. I thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to my channel, put a like. Again, this is tips and tricks and secrets. If you have some sort of tips and tricks, please just leave a comment. Leave a comment on the bottom of this video. I'm here to see if you guys could share some information as well, because I mean, I know how to read, but all the videos I've seen online, they're basically about how to build a cheap drone, how to build it for 10 cents or for like 50 bucks. But that stuff doesn't fly. I looked at all those videos and it doesn't fly. This stuff flies, and I could tell you right away what to do and what not to do. So yeah, watch for my other videos, subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and you have a good night, day, or morning.